Don't touch the lava. It's as the world burns. Hello and welcome. I'm joined here with Libra. Today we are going to be having a very special episode about Agent Orange. It is a very special man in everyone's lives currently today. And yeah, let's get right into it. A very special Orange episode. Today we're going to be talking about the Orange guy. Everyone probably knows who we're talking about, so we'll keep it simple. Agent Orange is our man. And the Boeing 747, we're going to be talking first about that. Qatar recently gifted Agent Orange an unsold plane. The Boeing 747 being offered to Agent Orange by Qatar once served the Qatari royal family and has been sitting unsold for years. The jet, a lavishly configured version of Boeing's largest passenger aircraft. Watch out. Has been lingering without a buyer since being put up for sale in 2020, according to aircraft listings and aviation analysts. Maybe the reason it's unsold is because it's Boeing. Agent Orange has publicly expressed frustration with Boeing's years-long delay in two modified 747s for presidential use. Of course he has. Agent Orange has argued that by accepting Qatar's offer, he can bypass delays and save U.S. taxpayers money. Critics, however, fear that the Jesus, why can't I say that? Critics, however, fear that the acceptance would be unethical and even unconstitutional. To meet Air Force One standards, the plane would need extensive modifications, including secure communications, nuclear blast shielding, and missile defense systems. Wow. The aircraft was commissioned for Sheikh Hamad bin Jassim bin Jabbar Al Thani. That was a lot. Qatar's former prime minister, and delivered in 2012 at a listing price of $367 million, not including the interior, which likely cost tens of millions of dollars. The customized interior, designed by Paris-based Cabinet Pinto, features sycamore and wakapu wood finishes, silk fabrics, and space for 89 passengers in a configuration that includes 2 bedrooms and entertainment and meeting rooms. Despite its luxury interior, the plane was failed to find a buyer since being put on the market in 2020, according to a report from Forbes. The Qatar Amiri flight, which manages the royal family's aircraft, still retains a fleet of similar planes. One of the 2 747-8s appears inactive, and a similar jet was gifted to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I've heard of him. Erdogan? Something like that. In 2018, after failing to sell. Ben Talapig, writing in the aviation blog 1 Mile at a Time in 2020, said the aircraft offered Trump had flown 1,069 hours. Nice. Since its delivery in 2012. Averaging about 2 hours per week. John Goglia, a former what's with all these names? A member of the National Transportation Safety Board, told Forbes that giving the 747-8 to the U.S. would allow the Qataris to avoid maintenance costs that were only getting higher. With the 747 fleet shrinking worldwide and fewer mechanics available to know how to work on them. What people are saying. Commenting on Qatar's offer, Agent Orange wrote on Truth Social on Sunday, the Boeing 747 is being given to the United States Air Force Department of Defense, not to me. It is a gift from a nation, Qatar, that we have successfully defended for many years. It will be used by our government as a temporary Air Force One until such time as our new Boeings, which are very late on delivery, arrive. Why should our military, and therefore our taxpayers, be forced to pay hundreds of millions of dollars when they can't get it I'm doing a terrible Trump impression, but I don't even give a shit. They can get it for free from a country that wants to reward us for a job well done. This big savings will be spent instead to make America great again. Only a fool would not accept this gift on behalf of our country. What happens next? Well, Agent Orange is eager to accept the gift. Bipartisan concerns in Washington over the ethics of the transaction remain and could spark legal challenges. Whoa, Agent Orange is buying a jet, or is being gifted a jet. Let's see. President Putin sacks commander in chief of Russian ground forces. Fun. Oh, yeah. So, another fun little story about our buddy Agent Orange here. Shocking far-right agenda behind the facial recognition tech used by ICE and the FBI. Thousands of newly obtained documents show that Clearview AI's founders always intended to target immigrants and the political left. Now their digital dragnet is in the hands of the Agent Orange. The Agent Orange. I don't really want to get too much into that because I don't want my analyzed in this shit. But let's just say that's not a good, you know what I mean? That's not good. Agent Orange shouldn't be doing that to us. Why is he, spying on us? Americans, Kind of sucks. Okay, so here's another fun thing the Agent Orange said. He said that the U.S. should take Gaza and turn it into a, quote, freedom zone. Agent Orange said on Thursday he wanted the United States to take Gaza and turn it into a, quote, freedom zone. As the Israel-Hamas war rages on in the Palestinian territory, I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone. The U.S. leader said in Qatar, adding, I'd be proud to have the United States have it. Take it and make it a freedom zone. The fuck does that even mean?
It's gonna be a national park.
It's gonna be a freedom zone, dude. Fuck national parks. He wants to destroy national parks. He said that on day one that he wants that America has too many trees.
He's sending our national parks overseas. Like the jobs.
He's taking. I'm gonna take all the trees and I'm gonna ship them to Palestine, which I officially recognize as its own nation, state, and country.
And park.
I'm not, and park, and national park that the United States now officially has, but does not operate because the Palestinians are operating it for us. They're growing their fruits and their vegetables at home, just like we Americans should be doing here at home. The Palestinians are a beacon of hope and are what we should be in America. We should be like the Palestinians. That's why I'm gonna start putting tanks on every street corner starting tomorrow.
Whoa!
Agent Orange out. Anyways, so Palestine is being recognized as its own nation state, and the Agent Orange is gonna turn it into a national park. Obviously. You know how it is. That is pretty crazy though, like how quickly in the past, like, say, week, like Agent Orange has completely like turned around his view on like everybody in that region and has completely shifted positions on everything that we've been looking at literally the past like months. Like everything has just kind of like shifted so differently. Now he's getting gifts from Qatar. He's signing weapons deals with the Saudi Arabians so that they can distribute weapons in the Middle East. It's like this is all shit that the country that shall not be named would absolutely hate. These are all things that go completely against everything that he's been saying and doing and what they've been saying and doing. So it's just kind of astounding how much things have just shifted. Literally in the last week. Not the last month, not the last year, just the last week. Maybe even less than a week it's been. But this is crazy. This is wild. Look at the world. Agent Orange is he even said this in an interview. I don't know if you saw this because we watch a lot of, evidently you and I watch a lot of the same podcasts and like same like like political discussions and stuff like that. I mean, I wake up every morning pretty much, or I'll go to bed listening to The Hill, and that's like kind of my thing. And throughout the day I'll watch like Breaking Points and then other stuff like that. But I try to still maintain like I do listen to some like right leaning like prepper stuff and stuff like that because it's just interesting to me. Everybody has a voice, and I want to listen to everybody's voice, not any which way. But you and I, we listen to some similar stuff. Did you see about? I actually forgot where this was all going, but did you see about the Saudi Arabian weapons deal and all that? And like
A little bit.
did you see about when they were talking about how supposedly like the country that shall not be named has been bullying the orange Agent Orange, the orange guy. Let's see what else we got. Deal in Pakistan with links to Agent Orange. Asim Munir under scrutiny. Agent Orange and Abu Dhabi Inc. partnership to build massive AI data center complex in United Arab Emirates. What? Agent Orange backs off plan to rename Persian Gulf after backlash from Iranian officials. That's interesting. Iran using criminal gangs for hit jobs abroad, court paper show. Fun. India remains fastest growing economy at precarious moment. Great. Let's see some more stuff about Agent Orange. Putin and Agent Orange to skip Ukraine's peace talks that Russian leader proposed. Oh, that's fun. The Polish foreign minister says that he believes President Putin is insincere and is mocking Agent Orange. Oh, this was kind of interesting. The U.S. Reportedly plans to slash bank rules imposed to prevent a 2008-style crash. Watchdogs could cut capital rules as Agent Orange's deregulation drive opens door to rollback of post-crisis protections. So that's fun. We could be looking at like something like that. But I feel like if anything happens, we're going to skip that and we're going to just go straight to like a downward crash, like a depression.
Are we not already in one with how expensive everything is?
We're definitely in a recession, but I think we're going to go into a straight up depression, I think is what's going to happen, which we haven't had a depression in a long time. What was the last depression? I don't think the financial crisis was considered depression. Wasn't there a day Black Monday or something like that in the 80s,
Yeah.
1987? Wasn't that like considered like
Wasn't that the stock market crash?
yeah. I've heard that we haven't had like a legit depression since the Great Depression. Like we haven't had like an actual like balls to the wall, using money to build your dollhouses kind of Great Depression. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, you're not going to need a dollhouse if you only have like one or two dolls.
Well, that's true. Agent Orange says that our 14-year-old, however old he said, was it 11 or 14? I forgot. It was 11,
16-year-old girls only need one doll.
These 25-year-old girls, these babies that
These
we
young
have
women
here,
babies.
these young they don't need 20, 30, 60, 200 of these dolls. They can have just like a half a doll.
True. Kids these days have 200 dolls. Yeah, they're called Funko Pops.
They're called Funko Pops. Oh shit.
You hear that? He wants you to only have one or two Funko Pops.
Anybody that's listening that's obsessed with Agent Orange and loves Funko Pops, just remember, he's going to take away your Funko Pops. He only wants you to have one or two of them. Is that all you want?
Just remember, there's time to change.
There is. There's time to get better.
You don't have to like Funko Pops. At least not that much.
Get into comic books instead.
What's next?
All right. So, do we want to keep talking about Agent Orange?
I like how much, like, I started to not like how much you were saying Agent Orange, but then you said it even more and more and more until it was like, this is kind of weird and like twisted and creepy how you keep saying Agent Orange over and over again. It's like you're trying to hammer it into people's brains.
Well, he is. He is the Agent Orange.
Agent Orange, this. Did you know that Agent Orange said this because he's Agent Orange? Orange isn't. Look how orange Agent Orange is. Agent Orange did this, this, and this because Agent Orange.
Well, this is a very orange episode, so that makes sense.
By hour 2, we're just gonna be saying Agent Orange over and over again.
Orange is gonna become my longing, homecoming, whatever those that line was.
Yeah,
Orange is gonna be in it.
it's just the rainbow. It's just the colors of the rainbow in order.
People just start saying colors, and I all of a sudden just turn. My eyes just shift to the back of my head.
You start snapping necks.
And somebody's like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm looking for Agent Pink and Agent Orange. I need to make my mission. Oh, I thought this was hilarious. Germany's talking about building the strongest conventional army in Europe. Never goes bad, you know what I mean? Germany should always have a strong army because that always goes well. Every time Germany builds an army, everyone's just like, "Uh-oh, something's not right here." Even if it's not them, apparently.
Let them have an army.
Let them have an army? Well, they haven't had one in, like, what, 90 years?
Let them have one.
Yeah, just give it to them. Don't even have them have an army. Just give them somebody else's army. Just, like, pick a whole group of people from somebody's random army, like, that has just a large amount of, like, you know, like, expendable soldiers, like, I don't know, China or the United States, and then just you know what I mean, drop them in and say you are a part of Germany's military now, and just give them all guns and teach them German.
Let them do whatever they want. We'll just, if they do anything weird, if they pull anything, we'll just roll in with paintball guns, mess them up.
Oh yeah, that's the plan. You got to roll in with paintball guns. We've established that that's how you take over a country.
There's no way they could like argue against what we're doing if we just fuck them up with paintball guns.
So you're saying that if Germany decides to restart and create the Fourth Reich and takes over, the way that we're going to stop them is we're just going to roll in there with paintball guns and we're just going to drop paint everywhere.
We're just going to the paintballs are pretty distracting and they can hurt sometimes. Shoot somebody in the neck with a paintball gun, it's going to hurt.
That is true. It does hurt.
And then once you get closer, you can put them in handcuffs.
Or just, like you said with North Korea, just like point to the ground and say over here, and then put them in big bouncy houses.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the big guns.
Yeah, that is true. We're not pulling out the big guns for a German army after 100 years, a Fourth Reich.
Well, that's something that we can like nip in the bud.
That's something we can nip in the butt. That we can just, that's small, whatever they call that. All right. So Germany's poised to create a big army. They're going to, you know what I mean, possibly take other people's armies and throw them in their own, from what I hear. And, if they get too out of line, we have a way to solve that. We'll go in there with paintballs and we will light them up, or I should say paint them up. U.S. proposes reviving NATO-Russia Council.
Hold on a second. My PlayStation just froze.
Oh. That's weird.
Yeah. Do you think we're getting hit with the solar radiation right now?
I do feel pretty weird, but I got high. Well, if we do, good luck, buddy. This is 39 minutes ago. Sunspot that released 1 million kilometer solar flare may soon face Earth. What to expect? The sun has once again gone into hyperactive mode and fired a powerful X-class solar flare from the sunspot region AR-4087 that only recently started to form. It triggered a strong radio blackouts across Europe, Asia, and Middle East at around 4:25 a.m. since these regions were facing the sun at the time. The most violent solar storm ever detected hit Earth in 350 BCE. It didn't say necessarily that there was going to be a big one, but it said there was going to be a bunch of them, like, coming.
The sky's pretty bright.
Is it?
Look outside.
Let me shut my thing. Yeah, it is pretty bright out there. It's like I go out and look outside and I see just an airplane just fall out of the sky and just like catch on fire and explode. I'm just like, oh yeah, it is pretty bright out.
Whoa. Your face lights up in like the color of flames. Damn, it's pretty bright outside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wow, it's 1:30. Ah, it's bright.
Your
And it's hot.
eyebrows get singed off. Whoa.
I see people running out and cooking on the ground, just falling on fire. All right. Yeah, it is pretty bright. All right, you want to talk about the New England serial killer? I really, really want to have fun with this one. I want to have so much fun with.
You want to have fun with this piece of shit?
Yeah, I do.
You want to like hang out with him?
I mean, if he doesn't kill me, I'd rather be his friend than his enemy. Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't want the Agent Orange hating me.
Don't step in the lava. It's as the world burns.
And we're back. We're gonna be having a very special talk about the potential New England serial killer that's could be actually happening. So just to get everyone caught up with this, there's 12 human remains found recently in 3 states: Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. I guess these 3 states, 6 of the body parts have been found in Connecticut, 6 of them have been found in Massachusetts, and I think it was like 3 in Rhode Island. Or it's a crazy little thing.
Such a crazy little thing.
Yeah, it's just a crazy little thing happening. New England has been, I guess, a little stressed out about this. They keep protesting online because the cops keep saying it's not a serial killer. It's not a serial killer. Don't worry, none of these things are connected. It's just random body parts just showing up all over the place. Don't worry about it. Everything's cool. So, just remember, if you ever see random body parts just showing up places and they seemingly are not yeah, exactly. Just don't worry about it. Figure it out, but don't worry about it.
Definitely don't waste anyone's time.
Well, exactly. You don't want to waste anybody's time on this. No conjecture. We don't want any misleading or false information to get out there and to, stir up panic. So, body parts are popping up here and there and everywhere. And, people are just getting a little excited and they're posting online. They're like, the cops are doing nothing. They're talking about how this isn't a serial killer. This seems like a serial killer, is what they're saying. I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm just, speculating at this point. So the cops are saying that it's probably not a serial killer and these are not connected. But here's an interesting plot twist. So here is a story: New England serial killer twist as suspect dies in jail after sparking wild theories. So here's a fun little one. Fears that a serial killer could be terrorizing New England have taken a shocking turn after the suspect in one of the murders suddenly died behind bars. Oof. Donald Koffel, 68, died Friday while being held at the Corrigan Correctional Center in Connecticut. According to the Connecticut Department of Correction, his cause of death remains a mystery, but it is not considered suspicious. That's officials said. Koffel had previously been diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing treatment at L&M. hospital. So was this dude just like offing people like when he wasn't like going through cancer treatment? Koffel's sudden death comes after he was charged with the brutal murder of his roommate, Suzanne Worms, whose dismembered torso was found stuffed in a suitcase in a cemetery in Groton, Connecticut, back on March 19th. The 68-year-old was accused of bludgeoning the 58-year-old victim to death with a baseball bat because she stole $200 worth of crack cocaine from him. Well, what else are you going to do if somebody steals that much crack cocaine from you? Koffel then lived more than a week inside their home. Oh, wow. You don't do that if they steal your crack. He then allegedly dismembered her, disposing of her body parts across several locations. Whoa. On March 19th, a passerby stumbled across Wormser's torso in a bag in Colonial Ledyard Cemetery. This grim discovery soon became central to a rampant theory that a serial killer was on the loose in New England, with at least 11 unexplained deaths or murders discovered close by in just 2 months. Those fears began back in March, when members of a true crime Facebook group started noticing multiple bodies or sets of human remains had been found across Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. The remains began showing up in early March and continued all throughout April. Many of the victims were female, and several of the discoveries were clustered close to the borders between the New England states, some just minutes driving distance apart. Speculation and rumors quickly spread online, with local residents and online sleuths connecting the dots between at least 11 bodies found within just 2 months. Law enforcement agencies went into overdrive trying to bat away rumors of a pattern and deny any connection between the cases. What? Serial killer? No way. That's what I assume the law enforcement will say. The rumors began when authorities found the body of 35-year-old Paige Fannin in Norwalk River in Norwalk, Connecticut on March 6, 2 days after her family reported her missing. The same day, a man stumbled across a human skull in the woods in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Around 2 weeks later, on March 19th, Wormser's remains were found. Then on March 20th, the remains of 59-year-old Denise Leary were found close to her home in New Haven 6 months after she allegedly vanished. On March 26, 56-year-old Michelle Romano's body was found discovered in a wooded area in Foster, Rhode Island. As March turned into April, bodies kept showing up. On April 9th, the remains of an unidentified man aged between 25 and 45 were found in Killingly, Connecticut. What an appropriate name. With another unidentified individual found in Massachusetts the next day. On April 20th, around 40 miles south of Framingham, an unidentified body was found in the Seekonk River off Pawtucket, Rhode Island. On April 22nd, 45-year-old Megan Meredith found murdered near a bike path in Springfield, Massachusetts. Holy shit. 3 days later, walkers came across the body of 51-year-old Samuel Stovall in Mill River in Taunton, Massachusetts. The next day, on April 26, 72-year-old Mary Colasanto was found in the Connecticut River in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. As the number of bodies rose, the dots, suggesting some or all of the cases could be the work of a serial killer. A Facebook group previously titled The New England Serial Killer ballooned to a whopping 68,000 members within days, and on TikTok, videos posted by amateur sleuths and armchair detectives racked up millions of views. Police in New England denied any connection between the cases. In late April, Koffel was arrested and charged with Wormser's murder. According to an arrest warrant, Koffel confessed to the police that he had killed the victim inside the apartment they shared. "All right, man, I did it. I hit her in the head with a fucking baseball bat, and it cracked her fucking head open," he admitted, according to the arrest warrant. I love how just colorful that was. The murder is believed to have taken place in December. Police said he acted alone and there was no ongoing to the public. Several of the other deaths have also been debunked as the work of a serial killer. Well, what did they just slip and fall into the river? New Haven police said there is no sign of foul play and no indication of any crime in Leary's death. I mean, just think about it. Human skulls, they show up in woods all the time. It's very normal to happen, is what the police are trying to say. It's normal for bodies to just show up in rivers. That's a normal thing. And we should all just get used to that.
Well, they should know, they're cops.
Well, they do know. That's their thing, is the safety. So they know that people should probably just stay away from rivers, is what they're saying. They're like, hey, if you go next to a river, you know what's going to happen? You're just going to end up floating in that river upside down. That's just what's going to happen. It's not even a serial killer, according to them. But I once heard somebody tell me, and I think he was a cop. He had a gun. He told me that when you get close to a river, the river literally seeps out of place, and it swallows you up like a big giant tide, and it swallows you into its dark abyss and captures you in there and forces a riptide in place that turns into a mini typhoon and just sucks you down into the bottom of the river, no matter how deep this river is, even if it's like a foot deep, and then you just end up drowning and falling to the side. And that right there is what these cops are telling us, is that we're just gonna end up drowning if we go next to these rivers, so just stay away from the rivers. There's no need to worry about a serial killer. You just got to worry about rivers. That's obvious. Just worry about water, right? And as for the human skull in the woods, I mean, well, why are you gonna go stumbling in the woods anyways? Just, stay away from the woods. There's nothing good.
Yeah, what were you doing in
come
there?
Yeah, exactly. What was that guy doing in there? Literally. Like, why was he? It literally said that he was stumbling around in the woods. Why were you stumbling around in the woods, buddy? What do you have? Why did you randomly come across a human skull? Maybe we should look into you. Now, the thing that is odd is there's just a number of body parts that are happening within days of each other. But, the cops are saying it's just all a coincidence. Just people die, and they die in very brutal, gruesome ways. And it happens every day, all the time, and especially in areas. And they don't always have to be connected.
Yeah, like think about that kid who went missing, Johnny Gosh, and then the other kid who went missing, right away, right after, right before.
Yeah, no connection at all. Yeah, totally unrelated. They just worked at they were the same occupation, worked for the same paper, and it's just little,
same age.
Yeah, same age. It's just little coincidences here and there. All three of them, it was 2 years apart every time. It's like these are all just coincidences. What the New England police are trying to tell you is just relax, don't go in rivers, try to stay out of the woods, and just relax. You know what I mean? If you're what they're saying is, if you're really that worried about it, walk in groups. Maybe that's what I'm getting out of the New England police. They're like, hey, you know what? Stay out of rivers. Stay out of the deep dark woods, because no good can come of there. And maybe, stay in groups, form gangs. I think is what the New England police are trying to say. That's allegedly. I mean, that's what it sounds like they're saying. That could just be a misrepresentation of the New England police. But
want to put words in their mouth.
Yeah, we don't want to put words in their mouth. They're just telling us to stay away from rivers, and that there's no need to serial killer, and stay away from the woods. I mean, they even said it themselves. You'll get poison ivy in the woods. So what are you doing in there? But I definitely think we should take a look at that guy who's stumbling around in there. It is interesting, though. Like, how often do you go out in the woods and find a human skull? Like, that must be kind of an interesting, definitely eerie experience, but a very, surreal. And these are all the people that we've found so far. You know what I mean? If this is a serial killer, which obviously the cops say it's not.
Which it's not.
It's not. Yeah, no, it's not. The cops say it's not, so it's not. If it was a serial killer, hypothetically speaking, there could just be bodies and body parts just strewn about that we haven't even found yet. Because some of these, they found the bodies within days of each other, but some of these, there was still, a lot of time in between, finding some of the bodies. There could be some that that are just out there that are buried in a shallow grave somewhere that nobody can find because this motherfucker's burying them. But obviously there's no motherfucker
right.
because the cops, you know what I mean? They say that there's no serial killer, so obviously there's no motherfucker burying.
Case closed.
Yeah, case closed. But let's not go quite case closed yet because there's more information as of today. And let me tell you, it is a juicy, juicy steak of a fucking human femur bone of a story. Human remains were found near Taylor Swift's beachside Rhode Island mansion amid serial killer fears. Add in DJ air horn right there. The discovery marks the 13th set of remains found across New England since March. Bum, bum, bum. Human remains were found Wednesday in an upscale neighborhood as concerns about a potential serial killer in New England continue to plague the region. A human leg bone was reportedly found on a beach path off Everett Avenue in Watch Hill, a wealthy coastal enclave in the town of Westerly. The remains were found just a stone's throw from pop megastar Taylor Swift's beachside mansion in the town. Only a few miles away is five-star beach getaway Ocean House, a luxurious resort on the Watch Hill Bluffs overlooking the sea. The remains were transferred to the Rhode Island Medical Examiner's Office for further investigation. The Westerly Police Department declined to comment. The Rhode Island State Police did not return a comment request. The discovery marks the 13th body or set of remains that have been discovered in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts since the beginning of March, sparking online chatter about a potential serial killer. 5 bodies have been found in Mass, 5 in Connecticut, and now 3 in Rhode Island. Apparently, I was wrong earlier.
It's a good thing they're all unrelated.
If we think they're all unrelated, here's what this one could be. And this right here could be the doozy of all these deaths. What if this body that was found a third of a mile away from Taylor Swift's home was actually her practicing satanic magic and sacrificing people to Satan? And what if he's dumping these bodies right now as a cover in order to distract away from the fact that she's doing this using the serial killer narrative to cover up her evil deeds? And this would fit the narrative that the cops are trying to tell us, and maybe the police are trying to tell us too, that Taylor is actually doing this. It's not a serial killer, that this is Taylor Swift instead.
Well, that would also make her a serial killer.
No, it's just this one incident. All of the rest of the incidents are totally unrelated. The police have said that. This
Oh, yeah,
one,
of course.
yeah,
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying.
yeah, no, it's all right. Just in case anybody else misunderstood what I was saying, what I'm saying is this one incident was definitely Taylor Swift, allegedly. That's what the police are trying to tell us when they tell us that this was not a serial killer, that all of these are completely unrelated and nobody should be worried in New England. They're trying to tell you that this is most likely Taylor Swift dumping bodies right now. I'm not trying to put words in their mouth. That's just what I'm getting from what they're saying. They're telling
Is that
us,
what the cops are saying?
well, the cops are telling us that there's no serial killer. And the only thing that I can gather is that if you find remains a third of a mile from somebody's house, I mean, the first thing that you're going to think is that they're a suspect, right? I mean, that's
So she's a suspect. Okay.
well, I mean, this is all coming together, right? Because he probably practices satanic black magic and sacrifices people to Satan.
Spirit cooking.
Exactly. Spirit cooking, Maria Abramovic, stuff like that. Just like Hillary Clinton, top of the food chain, super predator kind of shit. You guys all know about this. Allegedly, this all happens, and she is most likely contributing to this and actually causing this. She's probably the reason those bones showed up. and they should probably investigate her if they decline for comment, seeing that it's within her backyard, basically. Like if
I wouldn't doubt if they have a warrant out for arrest soon.
that's what I'm saying. If they're saying that there's
I don't know if we can say that.
allegedly, I think they might have a warrant out for arrest, because why wouldn't they try to investigate her? This literally happened in her backyard. They found a bone in Taylor Swift's backyard. Why is nobody
I
investigating
thought it
her?
was a third of a mile away.
It was a third of a mile away. That's her backyard practically. That's practically her doorstep. A third of a mile.
It happened inside her house. They found a...
It's practically in her house. A third of a mile away from it. We're talking.
They found a femur in her house.
Well, pretty much. I mean, we're talking mansion terms. These rich folks think in different measurements. You know how we think of, like, when people talk about asteroids, they're like, it's the size of 2 SUVs or whatever. They don't know how to properly, like, navigate, like, sizes and lengths and
Like, that's the...
you know what I mean?
An asteroid that's the size of... That's the size of half of my kitchen.
That's the size of probably a sixth of their kitchen, honestly, 2 SUVs.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, a third of a mile is literally her backyard. That's probably a bone that her dog found literally sitting in her backyard. And she was like, Fido, no, don't play with that. That's bad. That's mommy's work when she's not with you. It's probably something like that. And what I'm getting to is that they most definitely have to investigate Taylor Swift. They have to. There's no doubt in my mind that they have to investigate Taylor Swift. That's the only way that I think this serial killer
She's
murder.
being investigated, is what you're saying.
Well, she
Right
has
now.
to be. I'm not saying she is. I'm saying she has to be investigated. There's no way she shouldn't be investigated if the remains were found pretty much in her backyard, literally at her doorstep. This is just it's astounding to me that more people aren't talking about this, that more people aren't.
I'm just glad it's not a serial killer.
Well, that's me too. I'm glad that we don't have to worry about anything other than the rivers. That's all we have to, and Taylor Swift. All we have to worry about are the woods, the rivers, and Taylor Swift. That's it in life. That's all you really have to worry about in life are the woods, the rivers, and Taylor Swift. And that's the best advice that I can give you, is just stay away from those 3 things. It's basically like telling you stay away from drowning, getting lost, and Satan. That's all there is, really. I mean, that's the big 3, right? You don't want to deal with any one of those 3 things. And it's amazing to me that more people aren't getting what the cops are saying, because I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing that they want to, or are allegedly trying to, investigate Taylor Swift for murder and human sacrifice and cannibalistic practices.
I really am worried there's a serial killer, though.